Kia ora biyeetches, welcome back. It's another freaking video by Mystar. Okay, so it's been a while since I've been on here, right? I've actually been not really sure about what I actually want to be posting as of currently. I have been going on live on TikTok a lot though, so if anybody would like to hear me talk, I usually be talking about the same kind of stuff or similar kind of stuff as how I do on YouTube. But yeah, I've just been kind of like jumping on live, just freestyling it, just off the top because I noticed, especially, it's probably like due to me having heavy Gemini placements. I have that indecisiveness, and then I have my mind going like one way, then another way, and it's like, okay, but what are we actually gonna do? You know what I mean? Because I got all the ideas, got plenty of ideas, but then when it comes to like putting a template on the video, so I've realized as well, I shouldn't restrict myself because it's restricting my spirit by making myself think that I have to do it in one specific way. Like some people do one whole video and do the one topic. But if that's restrictive to me, then what's the point in actually doing that type shit? So it's really just a way for me to free my spirit from that perspective, because that's even an ego, that's a light. That's a Lucifer that my mind is getting lost in by making itself feel as though it has to stick to and abide by that only one code of conduct. But at the end of the day, there's many different ways to do shit. It's not about doing it in a specific way. It's about doing it in your own unique way. Bring something new into the world in some way, shape, or form, rather than just bringing the same shit over and over and over and over. No, thank you. No. Even me, like, I can't even handle, like, when I'm repeating doing the same thing for, like, a couple days. I get sick of that shit. Sometimes even less. But I'm sure a lot of people will get to that point eventually, but just depending how you are as an individual, might take you long to get to that point of I'm sick of this experience and going over the same thing. Because some people, they'll be watching the same show 1,000,000,000 times. I've probably done that with one movie. But then I got sick of it, so I did eventually get sick of it. But some people enjoy routines and patterns like that a lot more than other people. So that's really not even relevant to the video entirely. But it's cool. We're just fucking flowing. That's the aim of this video, is to just kind of freestyle it, because I find myself more in a natural state when I'm just freestyling, which makes sense because you're not thinking, you're not feeling so much, you're just being. Okay, but also I'm like, sometimes I don't know if that's like something that I should be 100% sharing with people. I think, yeah, anyways, that's from my own personal thoughts, my own personal shit that's going on in my mind. Damn, am I like losing hair on my edge? The edge of my scalp or some shit? Damn, bitch. I don't think so, but it really looks like that on camera. So yeah, when it comes to this kind of stuff, I just find myself more naturally tilting towards that side, but I'm feeling as though I should be like acting in a certain way of having things structured out, but it's like that's never worked for me in other areas of my life, so why am I expecting it to work for me in this area of my life if I've seen constant examples in all the other areas of my life that me just freestyling something and me just jumping more into that Aries type energy rather than what I think I should do, which is that Taurus energy, that Sun energy, or that Gemini energy, that planning air, or that making sense out of shit, earth quality. Because that's what I would naturally think that I should do, but doesn't all the time work out for me. I end up finding myself sometimes getting into those mindsets, but it's all about like knowing your own internal transits. And the better you can understand that or overstand that just beyond the signs, just the many different phases of you, you know. And then once you learn about signs, like astrology signs and shit, you'll start to be able to make sense out of it on a deeper level. But just knowing already that base level of the phases of you, beyond having a sign or a name for it, bitch, you'll be on your way. I swear. I swear. That's probably what helped me to learn astrology so well as well, was being able to kind of piece out the different phases of myself. And so other people who may not even be into astrology will be able to kind of relate to people like me who are into astrology and can do that, because we both have that middle ground of being able to piece out the phases of ourselves. And so then when we have that astrology, we actually get a deeper layer of it, you know. So like, that's true for everything in life. When you're able to actually internally do it, like without actually physically externally doing it, then when you go to learn how to do it, you sometimes get better ideas, or most of the time, at least from my experience, get better ideas and better ways to actually tackle that thing, you know. So for someone like me, I used to struggle playing with the guitar. And so when I would play the guitar, I would find myself getting really rigid. I'd find myself not being able to make progress, right? Because I was trying to force myself into a certain template of how it should be done. Versus nowadays, I actually have a better state of being overall. I'm able to actually experience what you would mentally or spiritually call music in my mind, which is just me experiencing like potent thoughts and feelings that are able to create music and create better experiences for myself. So I might be looking at the same thing as someone else, but I'm having a completely different experience of it, and I'm actually gaining more fulfillment out of it, so on, so to speak, in some ways, because I'm actually cultivating that feeling already internally. I'm able to go to that space or travel to that space or move in that way mentally. Then once I actually start to do it physically, aka play an instrument physically, right? I've already learned how to play my own internal instrument, my own mind, and how to kind of tune each part of my mind so that I'm able to experience more of some certain thoughts and feelings that I would like to experience. And so I'm able to cultivate more spaces and more energies and more awarenesses, well, not spaces, just more awarenesses, so that I can create a more like diverse experience for myself, instead of being stuck in one way of being, instead of being stuck in one way of doing things. And so now, sorry, that was a bit of a roundabout thing, but if you're on my vibe, you already know. You already be able to catch up with me, you know what I mean? Regardless of how many tangents I go into, regardless of how many side notes, you know, I'll just be able to make sense because I'm speaking like we're in that similar state of being or similar mind state. So when it comes to that, as I was talking about, then you'll be able to. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I was trying to figure out where at the specific point I was at. So now that I'm able to actually do that internally, tune my own instrument internally, mentally, now I'm actually able to play something like a guitar or a piano. And actually, in the past year or two, every instrument I've picked up, I've actually found easy. Or not easy, but much easier than before. And I find myself noticing improvement at a faster rate. Whether that's actually me improving at a faster rate is relevant to me, because I'm experiencing that I'm improving at a faster rate. And so therefore it's going to become that anyway, because I'm already manifesting that. And so therefore when I actually do jump into whatever instrument it is, I'm able to actually just have a like play around with it, and then I get to know the instrument. I get to know the different sounds that it makes, right? I get to know the different areas or different patterns that I would need to execute in order to actually play that instrument in a beautiful way, you know? and it comes naturally to me because I've already done that mentally. And that's with everything, is what my point was earlier in the video. Damn, 10 minutes in already. Okay, so yeah, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I love talking about that shit. But at the same time, starting to think to myself as well that a lot of people don't necessarily or might not necessarily value this kind of stuff, which isn't necessarily a bad thing and doesn't mean that it has to be true forever. But I'm just noticing that, especially like, yeah, anyways, I'm going to keep that under wraps. I'm going to keep that under wraps, actually. I just want to see how things play out before I start saying stuff about it. Anyways, so yeah, we'll see though. I'll just still do me and do the best I can without fully putting myself out there, because I look at everything as a relationship, everything as a connection in some way, shape, or form. So even just me posting videos online, that's a form of a relationship. And I'm just noticing online is not personal like that. So I need to kind of keep a degree of impersonality while still having some level of personal vibe. But at the same time, this is online, you know what I mean? I can't be just putting my stuff out there like that. Especially me being a Taurus, I'd be very much too much of an open book sometimes. So I gotta pull back sometimes, occasionally check myself and be like, okay, we're oversharing or we're overdoing or we're over, whatever the case may be. So yeah, just being conscious of that, you know what I mean? I feel like I want to talk more, but at the same time, I'm just to leave this video like this, short and sweet, because I did end up talking about a pretty streamlined topic. So yeah, that's a diary of a Mystar, whatever the heck. I don't know if I called them all the same thing. So, but they were meant to be like a little mini series of just me freestyling. So that's that one, whatever that one's called in my other videos. Yeah, diary, journal, whatever the heck. Peace. I'll see you guys for the next freaking video. Mystar is out.